Okay, we are live. We are here with our MC4326 Advanced Social Media class. We are here for another social media show. I'm really excited to be here with Agency 11, who's going to be talking about all things synthetic media and deepfakes. Such an interesting topic. Really excited to hear from them. Before we begin, if you're joining us from the audience, you know that you have 3 different options to join. We are live streaming to LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube. If at any point you have an issue on any of those platforms, just jump on over to the other. Really excited. I think it's going to be such an interesting conversation and such an interesting show. I'm going to pass it over to you, Sarah, to give us a great introduction.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our social media show. I want to thank Professor Stewart for being here with us. Our topic of conversation today will be synthetic media and deepfakes. As a lot of us know, synthetic media is digital content like text, video, image, modified by AI. Some examples could be AI written music, voice, face cloning, or even GPT written articles. Whereas deepfakes is essentially a subset of synthetic media, where this generated content is used in a malicious or manipulative way. I want to introduce my group. Today we have Christy, Gray, Divine, and Carson. Throughout our show, Divine will be giving us some fun hot topics. Gray and Christy will be going over 2 articles that are related to synthetic media and deepfakes. And then Carson will be giving us a newsworthy story. So before we start, I just want to ask a simple question of, have any of y'all gotten fooled by a video or image while scrolling through your feed? Because I know I have. I've been scrolling through my feed and clicked on some ads, and I'm wondering why everything is 99% off. So I was wondering if any of y'all have been scrolling through your feeds and seen the same thing.
No, I definitely have on TikTok, on Instagram. It's just been a lot of just fake stuff. Thank goodness that we have fact checkers and just stuff like that, because with how advanced everything is getting nowadays, it's getting scary, guys. It's getting really scary.
Yeah, I even see whole new AI news stations popping up on my feed, just pumping out fake AI news constantly, and I always see them pop up and think they're real for a little bit until I click on the profile and see it's all just AI generated.
Sorry if I'm going to disturb anybody. This just popped in my head too. So basically, there was this one TikTok that I saw, and it was this mother who basically received a FaceTime call from her daughter, but it wasn't her daughter. It was basically an entire deep fake FaceTime call audio, and she had to call her daughter while she was in school, asking her "Hey, did you call me? Hey, did you call me?" Whole time it was just somebody else. Same with the daughter's face, everything FaceTime looked regular. It was so scary. It was so scary.
Well, now we can give the mic to Divine to talk about some hot topics.
What's up? I'm Divine. I'm the hot topic man. So today we have 3 hot topics to talk about. The first one, let's talk about, for all my LinkedIn people, professional people, we're going to talk about how AI deepfakes are spawning a new breed of work harassment lawsuits. So for everyone that knows about AI generated deepfakes, deepfakes are basically videos, pictures of people doing stuff that they just never do. It's literally all fake. And in the workplace, a lot of these policies aren't really ready, or they haven't been what's the word? They haven't been ready, or they're getting all these new rules being added into place in defense of the AI deepfakes. A lot of workplaces are considering AI detection tools just because there's so many videos that are going on. They don't even know what's going on. Uh, and there's a growing number of lawsuits to AI. A lot of these workers, a lot of these employees are being targeted against. This involves either sexually explicit or just misleading content. Our next hot topic is, I think, the biggest one, the Tom Holland and Zendaya. I think I've been aware of this. About 11 million people have been aware of this. Have any of y'all seen the Tom Holland and Zendaya fake wedding pictures?
Yes, I saw those. I was so interested in them because I really wanted to see actual pictures of their wedding, but I know they're super private.
I kind of wonder if when we want things to be real, that like they just look real to us. I don't know if you've had that experience, but I'm with some of the commenters in the audience, like the cute animals. You're like, I really want that to be real. And then you think about it and you're just like, no, the bunnies aren't jumping on the trampoline or whatever it is. But do you think like our own intrinsic motivation and like, I think this engagement or wedding, fake wedding, it was a fake wedding picture, right? So I think like I was like, that would be awesome. And then like I was like, Sarah, I went to go look. So I was like, maybe they did. I don't follow up. Carson, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, for the AI wedding one, I even saw a video of like, I guess it was like an AI video of like they're like one of their like makeup people or something that like was talking at like a specific event and was like, yeah, they got married, like it's all private though, but they're married now. And I thought it was 100% real after seeing that video. So I was like, where are the photos at? Like I wanted to see them.
Yeah, you're not alone, Carson. Around like again, as I said before, 11 million people liked these fake pictures in around 5 days on Instagram. It was around like 10 pictures that were posted, and even the artist on the post said that it was AI generated. But if anyone that's been on Instagram can see that a lot of these pictures, if they show on your Reels tab, they basically don't show the entire like uh what's the word called, like not comments but like the caption. It doesn't show the entire caption. So the artist put, oh yeah, it's AI generated in the lower part of the caption. So no one's read that. So no one ever thought about it. And I actually going to what Helen said about the clip of Zendaya making a joke about it. Yes, she actually went on Jimmy Kimmel to talk about this, and it actually, like, while she was joking about it, there is a serious matter about these fake pictures, mainly because her relationship with other people have been affected through these pictures. A lot of people were thinking, oh, how come I wasn't invited to the wedding? I was even thinking about that too. I don't know why I wasn't invited to the wedding. But in her words, she had to go to people and be like, hey, babe, it's AI. Like, this is not real. Like, they are, I believe, engaged, but I don't think the wedding has happened or anything of the sort yet. But yeah, no, it's actually it kind of just shows how these deepfakes are an issue within within celebrities' lives and stuff like that. The next hot topic we're going to be talking about is AI musicians, specifically Sienna Rose. Now, the funniest thing about Sienna Rose is that Sienna Rose is a neo soul artist with literally no soul. She's a robot. It seems like everyone. Oh, sorry. Sienna Rose has around 3 songs. She had 3 songs on the Spotify Viral 50 playlist, which is honestly insane. And according to NBC News, on March 2026, she had 3.7 million monthly listeners on Spotify. I wanted to ask, just like in the to you guys and in the audience, have y'all ever been, you know what I'm saying, fooled by AI musicians or stuff like that? If y'all ever listened to those?
I've definitely, I know I'm not in the audience, but I've definitely been fooled by, like, I think there was this one song called Run and it was like there was a huge AI song, I think, before, like a couple months ago, and it was just like I had listened to that song probably twice before I had known that it was AI. And I'm a musician too, and I was like, well, this isn't bad, but it did fool me, and I'm sure it fooled a lot of other people because that song probably has millions of streams on Spotify alone.
Yes, I saw. I was definitely fooled as well until somebody came out and said that it was AI. And if I'm correct, is that the song that they had a real person redo it? Or was that?
Yes. Yeah, I believe the artist, like it was like called Haven or something like that. They made a real person make the song, and it didn't really go as viral as the AI song did. And
I
it's
saw
actually really
I saw it and I heard it and I honestly thought it sounded pretty good. It sounded almost the same as the AI voice, which is crazy to me.
yeah. No, as a DJ too, a lot of people have been telling me, "Hey, get this song, get this song, get this song," and I'm just like, "Oh wait, guys, a lot of these songs are AI. I'm not gonna do all that."
Yeah, I was actually just reading Evan's comment. It's some of the AI music actually sounds good, but when I realized it is good, like I'm probably still gonna listen to it even if like it is AI generated. Like, do you guys have like a preference? Like, does it like bother anyone? Like, if it is AI generated or like?
To me,
You can
go
go to
ahead,
bed.
Sarah. Okay.
Um,
You go, Sarah.
it doesn't really bother me, honestly, but I'm like probably not gonna listen to, I guess that would mean it kind of does bother me because I would stop listening to that song because who knows who this money's going to, like when you're streaming their songs and stuff. Oh, I lost a comment I was gonna respond to.
To me, I feel like I don't really like AI songs. It kind of just takes away from real artists, in my opinion. I feel the same way about most AI creative art, just stuff like that. I rather support real people than I support humans first before I support robots. I don't know if that sounds crazy. Um, the girl who redid the song lives in Austin. I didn't even realize that. I did not know that.
Yes,
Um,
I saw that she's from Austin because I follow this one influencer that's friends with her, and if I'm correct, I think she performed at Coachella, which I thought was cool. I
wow.
don't
Okay.
need to
I didn't
fact
know
check
that.
that, but
Yeah, I
I
think I'm
know
in the same
also.
boat.
Oh, you go
I
ahead,
think
Greg.
I think I'm in the same boat as Sarah on like my whenever I hear AI music because like I'll get tricked by it and I guess it won't like I just won't listen to the song again if I know it's AI. I'm just like because I don't want as a musician I don't want to be listening to something fake. Like it means more for it to be authentic to me. Um so but I don't get like upset. I just definitely won't listen to the song and give it more engagement.
Yeah, so actually going off of what you just said, Gray, with like the authenticity thing, I know there's a like big controversy going around with like AI gospel music and like the Christian community as well. With like it's AI generated, but people are still like, well, is it still like praising the Lord or like it does it not really count because it's not like anyone with an actual like making the music. So I just kind of wanted to hear everyone's thoughts on that.
that's interesting. I have not seen anything about that, but I mean, if you're like singing, if they're singing it at church like humans, I don't know how I feel about that. Like if they're singing the songs at church rather than like just playing the AI song, I don't know.
I've definitely seen like a bunch of songs with choir covers on them, and it's just AI, and it's just sad. Like it's really just sad, just because there there's life, there's life in music, and it really kind of it's really perplexing, or like it's very weird basically whenever like music that's supposed to have soul is being made by just binary numbers, I guess. Like it doesn't feel the same, and a lot of people felt that way whenever they found out that Sienna Rose was an AI artist, because again, she went from 3.7 million monthly listeners from March to 833K in April. Within a month, that's 3 million people almost just gone from her monthly listeners. And it's crazy. A lot of people, and going back to what a lot of people in the comments said, a lot of people did not know about the AI artists, and it's not only Sienna Rose. It's a bunch of AI artists that come out. We literally had one. We talked about one on Monday, I believe. Lil McKella, Lil McKella. She's an artist too. That's AI. It's really weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, I like reading through these comments like by Oatmeal and like Victoria talking about how there's no passion in the AI songs. And I kind of like that like view of AI music of like there isn't any like kind of passion being brought in like in the making of these songs. So like if you're writing a song that's supposed to like appeal to someone's emotions, like how is it really appealing to someone's emotions if there isn't any passion behind that song?
I like her. That's like writing a sermon using AI. Like it's coming
Yeah.
nowhere.
That's all the hot topics that we have today, and I'm going to pass the mic to Christy to talk about deepfakes and disinformation.
Hi, my name is Chrissy. I'm going to be talking about Article 1, kind of connected to what Divine was saying about how just like a lot of fake AI media is coming out. That's kind of what the article Deepfakes and Disinformation talks about. Kind of explains how synthetic media, like deepfakes, is changing the way people like view and put their trust into visual information. Just because in the past, videos and photos were kind of considered as reliable proof of reality, but now it's kind of like starting to decline just because like it's so easy to make fake media like look very real. One of the first main ideas will be the people begin to question what's real. Just because it looks like very realistic, because I know I've seen a lot of like fake shows on my phone that just like aren't real, I guess. Sorry. It's becoming harder for people to tell what is fake and what's real. It kind of creates confusion and uncertainty since the audience can like no longer really fully rely on what they see. It kind of like leads to like the question, if people can't trust what they see anymore, how can they like really confidently determine what is real, I guess.
Yeah, for me, this question, like, I get fooled by deepfakes all the time. I feel like I'm way too gullible about everything now. But every time, like, especially like seeing stuff online of like even like big celebrities or like political figures saying something, and I'll just instantly believe that like they actually said it when it's actually just a deepfake. But like, I won't even take the time to like figure it out, which I feel like I shouldn't even have to take the time to figure out if it's real or fake.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like nowadays whoever's posting whatever they're posting needs to like kind of verify if it's real or not nowadays when you don't know what's real and what is fake.
And if we don't know what's real or fake, think about the past generation. A lot of like let's talk about like grandmas, grandpas, or just people within like just senior citizens that kind of see these videos or just stuff like that. I really I really do wonder how they process these videos, if that kind of makes sense. Because if we don't think they're like if we're unsure, I think they're getting fooled, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I was also thinking, oh, go ahead, Greg.
I definitely agree with that. And I think that to like bounce off of that idea, like I know that X or Twitter has something in place where like they use their Grok to like fact check videos, like under it, you can ask it if Grok is this AI, and it will say yes or no. And obviously, you can take that for what you want because it's an AI telling you it's AI or not. But I think tools like that can be helpful to help these more gullible people, or if they're not gullible, just people getting tricked in general, just help them like understand the content a little more. I think just having more tools like that would be really helpful for everyone.
But isn't it kind of funny that we're using AI to see what's AI? Or
Yeah,
like
no, it is. But obviously we're getting fooled by it. So the AI probably won't get as fooled by the AI content, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, because I know my mom sends me like so many news articles from like Austin, and it's like fake, but she can't really notice it's fake. So then I have to go down a whole rabbit hole just to tell her like that it's not real and that like it's just fake. Because it's like a lot of videos she would send me like at random times, and it's like hard to decide what's real and what isn't real. But
Yeah, what I was gonna add on though to it was so like now in like the political world, like how much is this gonna affect like people's political campaigns with people being able to just like mass spread misinformation using AI and deep fakes? Like who knows, like the next election, like you could deep fake one of the candidates of like doing something terrible and then mass spread it, and I guarantee you the majority of people are going to believe it's real versus the people that actually take the time to like see if it's AI or not.
I want to jump back in because Carson, what you just said has kind of already happened in a way. Uh, President Trump has used deepfakes before, in a mocking manner. I believe, where I believe he took or he posted a video of like President Obama and Michelle Obama, I believe, as monkeys. Um, so it's really just like, even though like it's on a funny sense or something like that, it's really just like that's just him mocking. Imagine like how it is if people really want to be serious about this. And if possible, can we not disclose, can we highlight John's comment about the need of platforms to only to not only disclose that AI is being used, or but how it's being used as well? Mainly because you can say like, oh yeah, this is AI, this is AI, this is AI, but it does nothing to like it gives us no information if we don't know like how it's being used or what kind of AI is like, well, what the AI is basically transforming or editing. If y'all agree with me or not.
Well, Rocco took this from his conversation last week, and this is my biggest gripe is like you're gonna insist that things are being labeled as AI, but if you go on Instagram, it's like AI info. It's like this small little label, and if you add music to it, you can barely see it, and most people are not paying that much attention. And what does it even mean? It's so ambiguous in its form that we don't know what that means. Like, how was AI used? Was it used, in what ways? And so I think Rocco's point is spot on.
no, yeah, because the article kind of explains like how the media's credibility declines. Sorry. These examples also show how easily misinformation can spread, which directly connects to the article's main objective about the declining trust in media. When fake content goes viral, it reaches not just like a little group, it reaches millions of people, and it can really make the audience more skeptical on media, even like reliable sources. For example, if people were convinced that those celebrity images that the man was talking about were real at first, they might start to question whether other visual content they see later on. This kind of creates situations where people don't know what sources they can trust anymore, like news sources. Over time, it kind of weakens the credibility of them, and it kind of like goes on to the next question of how news organizations can like rebuild the trust within the audience in time where any image or a video can be seen as fake. So like, how can they make sure that the AI video doesn't kind of like ruin their image as a whole group?
I think with this one, I think a lot of the times, like, there's been cases of news stories like coming out over like something that was deep faked or AI made, and they just didn't fact check it first to see if it was AI made. And I think like a big thing that news stories should start doing is just actually fact checking their story before they actually like publish it out there and like talk about it, so then they don't have to take it down later when they find out it's all fake. But I think a lot of it is just with news stories wanting to pump out as much news as possible over any topic nowadays. So I think if like news stations would just take their time and actually like fact check their stories and get actual like true stories, their trust would start building back up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with Carson. Within my classes, because I'm in law and ethics class and I'm in a media writing class too, and a lot of times some of these blogs or just news corporations just want to get the news out as quickly as possible, and we've seen this happen with Kobe during Kobe's death. Unfortunately, a lot of these news corporations just went ahead. They were trying to be really quick, being the first ones to go ahead and get that story out there, that they didn't really even like fact check anything or even try to make sure that they got everyone who passed away correctly. They were just giving out headlines, and some people thought that that it was only Kobe Bryant's wife that was the only one left in her family. So it's like people were already getting news wrong before AI was coming out. With AI, it's really what you just said, Carson. Timely manner. A lot of people, like, we have to just wait and make sure that we have all of our information correct and fact checked before we start just giving it out to the public.
Yeah, especially now, because I think even like without AI too, like I think a lot of news are just pumping out stories that aren't even real. It's not even like fake AI generated like news either. It'll just be like something that was clipped, but like not the full clip was put in, just like a little bit of it, and then they'll make some fake story around it. And I think with AI, like that whole trend is just even getting worse with news because it's even more misinformation being spread.
I'm with Carson that like clipping is almost more irritating to me than the deep fake, especially if I can spot that it's a deep fake, because you're not getting the full sense. I do think that this is interesting because many large scale news organizations now do have detection systems in place. I mean, some of the stories go back 2 years ago when it was less easy, less trackable. It was less likely to be happening. But I think the reality is that most of your generation and below are not getting their news from news. Would you say that? So you're getting it on social media where anyone can post anything they want. So does that make social media responsible for the dissemination of information? And at what level should we hold them accountable? Because we used to hold, or maybe we still do, but we certainly used to hold news institutions accountable to being objective, to giving us, accurate information, to checking these things. Do we hold social media platforms to the same level of accountability? I'm curious what you think.
I feel like now we're not holding social media accountable, but as time goes, we definitely need to, just like the news as well, because spreading information is not good, especially if it's a serious matter.
Yeah, I definitely think like we do need to hold like social media apps accountable and news accountable. I also think that like news needs to not be so biased anymore, because I think that's a big part of spreading the misinformation. Because I think even like they can know it's misinformation and still spread it to push their agenda on whatever they're biased towards. Like I think there's a chart somewhere, you can like Google it probably, about like the news stations and what their bias is, and it'll like go up to like there's maybe like 4 non-biased news stations out there versus like the hundreds that are all biased towards pushing their own agenda, which just does not help when it comes to spreading misinformation.
I mean, it doesn't help that the people who own these companies also tend to own or are part owners in big tech companies or major multinational companies. I really like part of the article that Christy's reading that talks about how like visual content is much more likely to be misleading. Because if you see it with your own eyes, and I think this is especially true for humans, like if it's a video and it looks real, we're much more likely to be like, yeah, that's definitely true. And one of the claims that they make is like fluency, like our ability to understand it, to what's familiar to us, and our fluency in determining, yeah, this is synthetic media or this is a deep fake or whatever it happens to be. I think AI slop we're all very good at spotting, right? I mean, but it's the stuff that's like a little bit more difficult. So my question to you is, do you feel like your generation has, or even like my generation or my parents' generation, I'd say my parents' generation has no fluency in the ability to detect this stuff? I get messages and I'm like, no, what is this? So how does fluency play a role in people being better at detecting it? And does that change across generations?
I think
Yeah, I definitely think it changes across generations. Especially like I said earlier, like I'm so gullible. Like every time I see like the visual one of like a deep fake of someone saying something, I'll just be like, oh, like yeah, they definitely said that. Like there's no way AI got this good so fast that they could just make someone say something and look like this real. So like I just always take it the truth. And I would feel like, especially with like my parents always sending me stuff too, like online, I'm like, hey, like I don't think that's real. Like I think that's AI.
Yeah, I think that especially the further you go back in like time, like we were definitely conditioned to just believe what we see, because like for the longest time we had no other choice but to believe like the videos we saw and the photos we saw, because there was no way of really doctoring them to make them look real. But now that we're like just within the past like 6 years, AI's exploded so much, like we're kind of at the forefront of this new place in time where we can't actually believe what we see. And so I feel like our generation is honestly, since we're at the front of it, it can be easier for us to understand what we're looking at. But like just as when the iPhone came out, generations before, like my parents probably didn't know what the hell that thing was. So I feel like it's the same with AI. Like the newer generations will understand it more because it's been around since they've been young, or just and stuff like that.
I love this comment. I think living alongside AI's growth has allowed me to follow the errors from earlier AI. And I feel like this is true. Like we kind of like watch the like small corrective fixes. Do you feel like that's true for you as well?
Yeah, from the missing hands or the missing fingers going from 4 to 3 or something like that. Now people are just using their hands and stuff like that. AI is just getting more and more advanced. Because I believe it was this one video where the best way to spot a deep fake was people would just tell them like, hey, put your hand in front of your face so that it would mess with the filter up. And even more people are trying to like update their sensors so that even if you put your hand in your face, the filter won't mess up or nothing like that.
Yeah, I was even thinking about how like fast AI has grown and like gone public. Because I remember seeing like the deep fake in The Mandalorian, that Star Wars show, of when like it was one season they had like Luke Skywalker come in and it looked just like Mark Hamill, like a young Mark Hamill, but it was a different actor. But they deep faked it to make his face look like young Mark Hamill. But now like I remember seeing that and being like, oh, like well, yeah, big movie industries or show industries like have that technology, but now it's like everyone has that technology like at the palm of their hands on their phone. It can just do that on the regular.
No, yeah. Well, it doesn't like connect with news, but I know I've seen like a lot of videos of recently Drake saying that he's gonna go on tour, and I think like, sorry, I just really want myself to believe it. So it's kind of like crazy how like realistic it's getting now.
Valerie says AI feels like the new email text of how you won $1,000 or something like that. Did you hear about there's like this like collective of women in India who created the mega female influencer, and they made so much money off of her because everyone thought she was real. And so people were donating money to her to help her do her influencing, but it was all going back to this collective in another part in the world. Did you hear about this? Google it. It made news headlines, but I think Valerie's spot. People are using synthetic media to also become like the new scam artists, which is frightening.
Yeah, I like the comment that Josh just posted. We do not hold social media sites accountable, but we should. As more and more people shift away from major news labels to online parasocial media personalities, then there should be restrictions put in place to decrease partisanship and misleading content. I completely agree with that. I definitely think we need to have like some kind of restrictions put in place for AI media, especially when it comes to like news. I definitely think there like shouldn't be any AI involved in any kind of news because it's just not real in any sense. And when I watch the news, I want to see what's like actually going on in the world, not just what's fake.
I completely agree with this comment as well. We do need some restrictions. And we also, just like when you're like going through an investigation and you need to fact check evidence, like we need everything fact checked right now.
I think McKenna's comment kind of builds into what Joshua was saying, is that social media companies didn't used to allow hate speech, and now it seems anything goes in the name of free speech. And oftentimes what we see is like it becomes the propaganda of why to allow something, but it's also a slippery slope. So what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think
AI generated. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I definitely think that companies need to go back to putting a little bit more like restrictions on this like hate speech, because I remember at first when it was like, it was just like a couple of years ago where they were censoring like almost everything. And then people were like, okay, you guys are censoring a little bit too much right now. And then I feel like now they've just completely like laid back and aren't censoring almost anything, especially if it's AI generated. I feel like they're like, oh, it's AI, like it's not real. So like it's just like fake, or it's considered like a parody almost, to where like it's just doesn't need to be censored. Or in my opinion, I think like, well, if it's still hate speech, I think it should still be censored. Like I don't think that's something that should get spread around, even if it is fake. So,
or like those labels that like the trigger warning labels, like you are about to see this kind of content, right? Like I feel like we used to have this sometimes when we were scrolling, and now in the last year I've seen things that I didn't want to see because it just comes up too fast. And I wonder how we deal with that sort of like ridiculous pendulum swing, right? Because I think obviously it's hard to get the perfect balance there.
Going on to like the last topic of the article, kind of goes along with what we've been saying with how visual evidence can become more politically based. Sorry. While we saw some examples about celebrities and entertainment, the article also explains that the same issues have become even more serious in political contexts. Because like if people question celebrity images, they can also question more political videos on important events. So this means like even real evidence can be dismissed as fake just because people generally don't want to believe what they're seeing, or just because they don't follow certain political people. As a result, physical content can no longer really settle debates. Instead, it kind of actually creates more disagreements and division along people. This becomes more concerning when it affects like public opinion on certain topics or major decisions. So we kind of wonder what happens to public opinion in democracy whenever people can kind of reject real evidence as fake just because they don't want to believe it's certain things that are happening in the world. So like, what do y'all feel how people can do just like to do that, I believe? I'm sorry.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier with like how with AI media nowadays, like especially with me, like I never like watch the live like conference of political debates and stuff. I always like go on after the day after to find like the clips or the videos of it. And if I go to the clips or videos and then I click on someone that posted it, but it ends up being like AI like generated and they change up what people say, like that's going to completely change my opinion on what I had for the people I'm trying to watch in that political debate. Um, I don't know if anyone else does that too, or just me. Oh, I don't know if anyone else does that too, or just me. But I definitely think it's worrying to like see that an AI deepfake getting more and more like real looking, especially when it comes to the political world and how that misinformation can change like the majority's opinion on whatever it is.
I think we just lost someone, and I'm hoping they come back. If you can message your group, try to get them back, but feel free to continue on.
I'm still trying to like make sure that what I'm about to say makes sense. But quite literally within, I feel like for public opinion and democracy, when people can reject real evidence as fake, I feel like we've seen this happen, or at least I've seen this happen on TikTok before, and it just kind of creates this like delusion, or like people don't want to believe what's been told is real or what's been fact checked. Like they will literally just delude themselves and kind of stick themselves into this, I want to say like tunnel vision, or like, how do I say this? Like whatever, they're not gonna, they don't want to believe what's in like the small circle of what they already like have. It's like a lot of people just don't want to be open-minded anymore, or stuff like that. If they believe, a lot of people, whenever they believe that something is like whatever, sorry, what they want to believe is real is what they want to believe, and they don't want to dive outside of that. They don't want to really realize what's real and what's fake anymore, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it keeps us in these like echo chambers almost of like of just a constant loop of what you want to hear.
That was the word that I was looking for, echo chamber.
And I think especially when it comes to the political side, like that's a big issue with, and then like AI being introduced into the political side of just the world. And I think that can be definitely detrimental, because then that's how you get people that aren't open-minded to like different opinions, and then stuff won't change if people are just so stuck on their beliefs.
I believe someone posted this in the comments before. They were talking about how Trump basically made an AI picture of him being Jesus, and people, it was this one video that came out, and this guy was basically showing like Christians or just people in general, like, hey, do you believe, like, Trump posted this, and like it was on Truth Social or something like that, and people were just, they didn't want to believe it. They didn't want to believe that Trump posted it, or they're like, nah, I think that's AI or something like that. So AI has really infiltrated people's minds to the point where it's like what we said before. You have something that's real, and people are just gonna be like, "Oh, that's AI. That's fake. That's fake." It's a running gag almost within this generation too, where if something embarrassing of one of us comes out or something like that, we go straight on Instagram. Oh yeah, that's Sora AI. That's Sora AI, guys. That's not us. That's not real. That's not me.
Yeah, I like what McKenna said about how AI is dangerous now just because people wanting to believe what they want to believe. And I like the word you used, willful ignorance, of like almost knowing it's fake, but then still being like, well, I'm just going to believe it's real because that's like what I want it. That's what I want to be real. So I definitely agree with like how that can make AI super dangerous.
No, yeah, that's like pretty much what the article just mentions a lot is how people are kind of blindly trusting AI just to support
Christy, your mic is muted.
Sorry. Yeah, that's what the article was just kind of talking about. People basically just like kind of blindly putting their trust in AI in the past, and now they're kind of like trying to put more distrust into it. It's not like it's not just an issue that's going to be happening in the future. It's already here. It's happening and influencing people today. And the article kind of just builds on.
I still believe that your mic is muted. Is it just me?
I think that's just you,
Yeah,
Devon.
I can hear her great. Keep going for now.
It kind of just, the article just explains how these situations kind of lead to people losing trust in a lot of social media and causing a lot of confusion and division with a lot of topics. And then that's all I have for my article.
All right, so for the second article, we're really going to focus on like terminology when it comes to just deep fakes. And so the author in this article really focuses on this other term, synthetic media, as well. And what's interesting is like they're really talking about these two terms, deep fake and synthetic media, are referring to the same technology. It's just a different label at the end of the day. So when most people hear the word deepfake, at least I think of like misinformation or like stealing something that isn't yours. Or when it comes, like we mentioned, political videos, people deepfaking political figures. It makes sense that they would think of the term as devious because it does have a controversial origin of the word. It came from Reddit about back in 2017, where people basically combined the words. I think deep. It was deep learning and fake. They combined those two words to make deep fake, and it was used to face swap celebrities onto pornographic material back in 2017, and that's really where deep fake got started. And I really think that the history of that word matters because that is a big point in the article, just talking about how language really shapes the perception of this same technology. So the first question I'll ask is, do we think that the negative reaction to deepfakes comes from this origin of the word deepfake coming from Reddit and being linked to pornography, or does it come from the actual word itself of just being fake, and like it's deep learning but it's not real and it doesn't actually exist?
I definitely think the negative reactions come from like oh, I think it comes from recent media, especially with like people using deepfake to describe like fake AI videos nowadays and stuff like that, and with like just like the negative tendencies around those AI videos as well. And I think that's what that negative reaction is just like building off of.
Deepfake, I don't know. Deepfakes to me just, I don't like the word. It just seems like having fake in there just doesn't sound right. So I feel like it could be either.
Yeah, well, that really leads us into what like the study was covering, and these researchers just wanted to know that if you just change the label from deepfake to this new label, synthetic media, would that change how people thought about the tech being used? And they did find by calling it synthetic media, it didn't reduce how risky the people thought the tech was, but it did increase the benefits that people saw from the technology. So their concerns didn't go away about misinformation, but by calling it synthetic media versus a deep fake, it brought more upsides to the technology rather than downsides. So do we think that like calling it synthetic media is more just to rebrand it to sound less threatening than deepfake, or do we think it's more of a accurate label than a deepfake is?
For me personally, I definitely don't really see a difference between the two words. I actually find it really interesting that the connotation does change how people view like synthetic media or deep fakes. But yeah, I guess me personally, I don't really see a difference between the two. I would both see both as just like AI media.
I mean, so what I would say is I think you can have deep fakes are synthetic media, but synthetic media is not inherently a deep fake because you aren't necessarily switching out people's faces with all synthetic media. I mean, we know this because people were talking about the AI animals jumping on trampolines and sort of like these other examples. I also think that we have this like new label that has emerged, which is like AI slop. Right. And so if you think about synthetic media versus AI slop, which one has a more positive versus negative connotation? So I think there is sort of like a discursive reframing of how we see these concepts happening in real time. But I think like by and large, like for me at least, deepfake sounds like more sexual in nature. It sounds like the horrific acts that we hear about happening to celebrities or young women, where synthetic media, like I don't get that picture in my brain. I immediately go to like, it was generated with AI, and that doesn't mean anything. Where if I hear, and I don't necessarily think that that's negative immediately, but if I hear AI slop, I immediately go to like the AI vibe stuff that I was showing you in my mind. Like that is, there's like, I do think like the euphemisms are necessary. And I do think they can even change a little bit. I'm curious if you think, and I'd be particularly interested, Gray, in what you think, like, can those meanings change? Or can the associations that we have with them change over time?
Yeah, I think they definitely could. I feel like we haven't gone through a proper amount of time yet for them to change. But I like what McKenna said. She said it seems like just these terms are used to desensitize us. That's not word for word for what she said, but it's like it does make sense that in my mind that we'd be having these different terms for the same thing just to, I guess, make us more numb to all this AI stuff. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think all three of those terms like are just like different categories. I agree with Professor Stewart. What she said, like deepfakes just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Like it's like kind of a sexual thing used in a, like I said in the beginning, like a malicious way. Like it's not used. I mean, is any AI used for good? But like specifically like deepfakes, and I don't even know what I think about when I think about AI slop. Just I don't even know.
But the cringe in your body says it all. The cringe in your body. But I mean, with deepfakes, it's like it's either sort of like the sort of more pornographic films that we talk about, or politics for me in my mind. Like it's like those two are the only things that I typically associate with.
Yes, I have seen online like people promoting like OnlyFans with like an AI body, or like just putting their head on somebody else's head and promoting AI, which is crazy. That is crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the monetization of OnlyFans right now through AI is something that is happening at a rate that would probably blow our minds if we actually knew what the numbers look like. And that should concern us because they're essentially grabbing people's images, right? So it's like
imagine Carson, Gray, and Divine all like post pictures to social media, and like next week there's an OnlyFans that looks like the three of you somehow, right? Like it's not just celebrities that this becomes a problem with. And so does that make you think or feel concerned in any way for your own sort of footprint that you've built on social media that could eventually be used in some way?
Yes,
It
that is so concerning, because I feel like the people doing this, like the easiest targets are people that aren't like famous and stuff, so they would rather use like somebody like us, because we would probably never know, rather than somebody famous, because somebody could like spot it and be like, I know this body, like I know who this is.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's super concerning, especially with like apps like Instagram. I think ever since Instagram's been a thing, there's always been people like recreating your profiles. I feel like everyone's definitely had a moment where someone's like copied their entire Instagram and like try to fake as being like yourself, especially nowadays. But usually, like before, it was like they would just take screenshots from your pictures that are already there and then repost them to like fake it being you. But now with like AI nowadays, I feel like they could just generate any random picture of you and post it as well to like scam other people into thinking that it is actually you.
Yeah, it makes you think about like all the AI influencers out there. Like, are they using somebody else's body, or are they like generating the whole image at all? Like the people that we were looking at in class, I'm like, is this somebody like that's already existed with a different face on it, or is it just a whole generated person?
I often have that thought as well, Sarah. Like, I think we hear more about the celebrities or the politicians because they're famous, because they're in the public eye, but the odds of it scraping and being used by everyday people is probably more likely. And just to like kind of change your direction here, McKenna says, I love the term AI slop, but she also mentions, and I think this kind of goes back to Gray's work on this article, it's a form of public shaming. Do you think so? Am I public shaming people by saying it? I mean, AI slop maybe needs to be publicly shamed. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like you're publicly shaming the people that are creating this AI slop, and yeah, sometimes I guess you do have to do that to get them to stop, because these people are never gonna stop, because you don't know who they are. You're probably never gonna figure out who it is.
Yeah, I actually love the term AI slop. I completely agree with McKenna here on how it's like a good way to like almost shame like the AI people, but it also like gets in people's head when they see it's like, oh, it's AI slop. And like I feel like slop has such a negative connotation to the word already. So like it helps people be like, oh, like I'm tired of all this slop on my feed. Like this is enough.
It's almost like a new age term of like YouTube poop, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it is. I hadn't put that together before, but absolutely. I like Valerie's comment here. Yes, like how TikTok is pushing the AI remix feature. Have you seen this? Where it's like remixing? Okay. Yeah, I agree, Valerie. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think this actually ties into the next like part of the article, which is really talking about the way that the context matters and how the technology is used, and then how people perceive it thereafter. So people do react differently based in the context of which it's used. So if it's in politics and people are using deepfake technology, people really focus on the deception and risk part of the technology because it's in the politics sector. Whether they're labeling it as synthetic media or deepfake, it doesn't matter. But if it's in the entertainment space, like de-aging actors like in The Irishman, or just AI voice tools or gaming, or even like when it comes to accessibility tools, using AI through that, the conversation kind of shifts to this benefits of the technology rather than the downsides. So even though it's the same tech, it's all used, and it just people's perception changes based on where it's being used. And the author kind of points towards news coverage, and news coverage tends to lean heavily towards the negative side when talking about deepfake and synthetic media. It says almost 60% of their coverage in the study found that deepfakes it's found that deepfakes, when talked about on the news, are almost always talked about in a risky manner and talking about the downsides rather than the upsides. So my last question to everyone would be, do we think that the media is in the right to focus so heavily on the risks of the deepfakes, or should they spend more time highlighting the positives in areas such as like entertainment and education and like accessibility to people that need that extra help through these tools?
I feel like it is like you can focus on the risks, but unfortunately AI is a part of our future, so we might as well like try to look at it in a positive way, or like give it a positive outcome to the public, because AI will keep growing and advancing throughout the years.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Sarah just said. I definitely think we should try and focus on like the positive uses on AI, especially since like I definitely don't think we're gonna see an end to it anytime ever, especially with it becoming so integrated into our future. But I do also think that we should like highlight the risk of deepfakes as well, and like kind of going back to what we were saying about like if there should be restrictions put in place for AI. I definitely think like the restrictions part should be a focus on it, but I do think we should really highlight like the positive areas and how it could positively affect like our future.
I love what Valerie just said because I was about to just say that. What are the positives of deepfakes? Because in my opinion, I feel like the media is right to focus on the risk of deepfakes. Because if you hear what the media is saying, it's not even going to the fear mongering state yet. Everything, like most of the things that like at least trustworthy media outlets are talking about deepfakes are real, basically in a way. I really can't see any positives, like even with like the entire like de-aging and stuff like that. Like we could say like de-aging actors is a pro, but you could also tie that into people de-aging other actors, but not in a sort of good way. Like there's context that kind of goes into like the whole de-aging part. But I don't really see. I can't see the positives. I really can't. All I really just seen is like negatives when it comes to deepfakes. Now, AI as a whole, I do believe that we can look at the positivity, you know what I'm saying, look at the positive outcomes of AI, but there's definitely more cons that are being than pros. Like we could look at a lot of the pros, but it's not that many of them. It's not that many of them in my eyes, in my opinion.
I really like what McKenna said about having AI do math stuff for us, but leave the entertainment to the creatives because that comes from life experience and soul, in my opinion, in her opinion. I agree with that. I definitely think art and like stuff that has to do with art, whether it be like songs or like even movies or stuff like that, people take time in writing. I definitely think that should come from the actual creators and not AI. But I can definitely see the benefits of AI helping like maybe edit stuff to like help make it the process go by faster. But I definitely agree with that point there.
I guess the question is, do those minor benefits to the entertainment industry warrant all of the risk that emerges as a result? So like misleading the public having a hard time discerning fact from fiction. Obviously the marginalizing features. We know that the majority of deepfakes are being done to women. We know that like the political deepfakes obviously have a political influencing impact that can be potentially damaging. So I guess, does one risk outweigh the other, I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
I feel like CapCut's AI clipper is not gonna ever outweigh like there's like the minimal things that AI does is just, again, it really just baffles me because it's like, okay, like I know for animators they use AI sometimes for the background, or like they kind of help for the processes for just like certain for certain frames. But I'm like, and like, but those minor things aren't really gonna really take away from the big, like from the big cons. Okay, yeah, we have AI clippers, makes my life a little bit easier, but it's also taking gallons of water for when it comes to generative when it comes to the generative AI side. There's definitely more cons than pros when it comes to AI. In my opinion, again, in my opinion.
You couldn't hear me, but I was laughing out loud at that cap joke. That was a good joke. So Helen says that people have also become too dependent on it, on AI in general. Do you agree, disagree? What's the consequences of that?
I do agree with that. I've seen some of my friends just like kind of using, like, it kind of goes back to whenever we were talking about like the whole therapy thing, like using AI as like a therapist, or what should I eat, like the risk of that is like just basically like, I don't even know, like I don't know, you can't make up a decision on your own, or like what's going on.
People are using
Ours-
AI. Oh, people are using AI to make grocery lists. Like, like it's that's crazy. Carson, you go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie, I use AI to make grocery lists, but I I definitely think that
Is it more
AI
efficient, Carson? Is it better? Is that why?
it just kind
My
of helps me put
question
it all
is, are you like
together.
asking, telling it, oh, I wanna eat this meal, can you make me a grocery list, or like how does that come? What do you
Tell us
ask?
and then jump into your response.
Yeah, it's more like I'll like tell it like, oh, like I want to make these meals like this week. Like what's like groceries I can get for it, and then it'll like give me a whole list. Or I'll just ask it to list out all the ingredients so I don't have to list it out myself. Like, but what was I saying?
Now they just need that to sync to the HEB online shopping order, and we don't have to do anything, right? Can you imagine?
Oh yeah, about people becoming too dependent on it. I think like especially with people that are going to ask like where they should go eat and stuff is taking it a little bit too far. I also think it's like going to it for therapy and stuff is like ruining human interaction almost. Like I think as humans, like we're definitely social creatures and we should be like talking to each other, especially over like different things in our lives. And I think going to AI like just completely gets rid of that human interaction that we're like meant to have.
I honestly wonder, I don't know, was AI a thing during COVID? No, right? I wonder how that would affect like the people that went through COVID and like during high school or college, because that COVID alone already like made people like less social and stuff. Like, I don't know, I see like COVID babies, like my niece, and she's like not very like social and stuff. So I wonder how like COVID and AI would have affected like everybody. That has nothing to do with what we were talking about, but I just thought about that.
It's a good I wonder. I'm sure in 10 years someone will be studying that trajectory. Gray, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just think sticking on the AI train, I think Carson could really talk to us about kind of just more misinformation when it comes to AI generated media in general.
Yeah, guys. So moving on to the newsworthy topic for today. Um, I actually found this song on a news article about this song that was completely AI generated. It's called Heart on My Sleeve, which was mimicking Drake and The Weeknd. It was originally posted to TikTok and then later uploaded to Spotify and YouTube. And it racked up something like 600,000 streams on Spotify, 15 million views on TikTok, and then like 275,000 views on YouTube. And before even being like taken down by the Universal Music Group that like is in charge of Drake and The Weeknd and stuff like that, they took it down finally. But this leads me to the question of like, do you guys think like if it's not directly saying like it's Drake and The Weeknd, do you still think it should have been taken down even though it sounds just like them? Or like who actually owns like that voice?
I feel like it's kind of hard to answer that question because, like, as public figures, like, your voice is out there, but I don't know who owns a voice. I don't think I mean, everybody's like posting online every day, like even ourselves, like, so do you really own like your voice? I guess.
I think your voice is your brand when you're a singer. I think even though it's like probably not on paper yet that you own your voice, or like your label owns your voice if you're a singer, I think that just I feel like just you being a person, you have a right to your own sound, and like that is your right. But I could definitely see laws being passed in the future of being like, oh no, like that goes against some sort of copyright or something like that.
As someone,
Oh, go ahead.
Carson. Okay, bet. As someone who really dives into music business and stuff like that, I love telling people like, hey, like you own your own voice. It doesn't matter like if your labels own your master or something like that. You are your own person. You are your own voice. And it's very weird that an AI artist is able to literally type in, hey, make a Drake song with these lyrics. And then you might say like, oh, like, all right, you can say like, oh, make it sound similar to Drake. It's still taking a really huge inspiration from Drake. It's literally like, again, it's almost copying him. So yeah, like it's infringement. It's I think that's like it's really weird. It's very weird, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so that actually led me into my next question. Is AI art considered like theft, or would you guys consider it innovation?
Matters on the context. Matters on the context.
Like, let's say, like for the example, the song "Heart on My Sleeve" using Drake and The Weeknd's voice. Let's say they didn't like explicitly mention that it's the Drake and the Weeknd's voice that they're using. Would you still and even though it sounds like it, do you think it would be considered like stealing their voices, or do you think like the AI came up with it and it's like an innovative thing?
When you can tell, and like I'm with I can't remember who this person is, but I'm with them. You could tell it was their voices. And so at the point where you can be discerning of a very particular artist's voice or two artists' voices, I think that's where the line really needs to be drawn. And there was in one of those kind of like AI Lego videos that's been circulating, you know, the ones I'm talking about, one of the voices was Eminem. And I was like, that is Eminem's voice. I don't know if you heard this one. I was like, that is 100% Eminem's voice. And so for me, that probably shouldn't be allowed. But I'm curious, like for me, that's just total theft. Like if I can tell who it is or who it's supposed to be, that seems like theft.
So do we think there should be like laws and restrictions put in place over voices? And like, even if so, like how would that go about? Like how would you even determine that like that is someone's voice if they don't explicitly say it is that person's voice?
I think it's exactly how kind of copyright laws are now. It's like if something is close enough, it can be considered like theft or breaking those copyright laws. So I think I don't know why it wouldn't be similar to that. Because if like all these people think that it sounds like Drake and The Weeknd, even though they didn't say it, I think that that is proof enough that it is Drake and The Weeknd's voice in the AI. So
I made a joke in my in-person class on Monday that, you know, I showed the Morgan Freeman video and I said, you know, in 250 years, Morgan Freeman's going to be putting out new movies. But I think the same is true. We could have new Drake and Eminem, you know, tracks coming out, and then copyright doesn't even apply. So like, I mean, right now it's like theft quickly, but like it could be more like assigned to the artist later, which I think also opens up like a really odd can of worms. I remember it was Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, and you remember I can't remember if it was like Doc Martens. It was like one of those companies. They redoctored him and put him in an ad after he had passed, right? And this same kind of argument was in that discussion of like, do you really own the rights to a human artist after they're gone? And even when they're here, I think now that's an even bigger issue.
Yeah, I really like what Cameron actually said about how they feel like it's a combination when it comes to the copyright restrictions because there's DJs out there who take songs and remix them and still use like those other people's voices and bits from their songs to make their own thing. And that's all considered innovative in today's world. Like especially if you're going to like raves and stuff or whatever, you're going out to like the club or something like that and you hear DJs just remixing different songs. So like what do you guys think is like the difference between like DJs taking the bits from the songs versus like maybe AI making a remix on something?
Hi.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Go
Um,
ahead.
as a DJ right here, me remixing songs or me taking an acapella from one song and then putting it on a different beat is not the same as someone taking someone's voice and making an entire song out of it. So it's like I definitely understand a part of what the comment is saying, where it's like it kind of goes into the copyright restrictions because now people kind of have to be very specific about what is theft and what is innovation, because some people could pass off, oh yeah, no, guys, it's a parody. It's just a parody, guys. It's like it's not supposed to be real or something like that. So it's like they have to be kind of very specific about how an AI voice can now be used as theft or innovation. But yeah, no, DJing is no, that's not the same. That's not the same.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I definitely go to some raves and stuff. But I feel like DJs like they're using it in a good way. They're like promoting these people, and it's like I don't know if necessarily these AI voices, like y'all said, like or like we were talking about earlier, how they don't necessarily say it's Drake in the Weekend, whereas DJs like they're helping promote these other artists, other DJ samples, other anything. So I mean, it's not used in a negative way.
It also takes time to craft a DJ set. It doesn't take time to craft. It doesn't take as much time to craft a prompt that you put into an AI that makes you the song. So, because it is art in its own form.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that. I think that also goes back to what we kind of said earlier about like the passion behind songwriting and stuff and making music. And like if there's no passion, then it's kind of just empty. But with that, I'm gonna pass the mic to Sarah to wrap up this show for us.
Yes, thank you all for joining. I was so nervous going into this, but I had fun. We went over a lot of stuff discussing synthetic media and deepfakes. We went over the Tom Holland and Zendaya situation. We talked about how deepfakes like lower the trust in news and information overall, and also like the origin story of deepfakes and a little bit about some AI written music, which I enjoyed talking to all of y'all. And thank you, Professor Stewart, for everything. And thank you to my group.
Well done. Give them some love in the comment section. Congratulations, Agency 11. That was a very fun show. I really enjoyed being here with you and getting to be part of your wonderful conversations and topics. Thank you for planning such a great show for us. Thank you to everyone in the comments. As usual, they were flying in and we really appreciate it. All-star to McKenna for like always giving such great stuff. And then I thought there were some great comments from Morocco. Lots of people, but it was really, really fun. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you on Monday. Bye, everyone.